Hi, everyone. Welcome to Speaker Insight, where we help speakers, authors, and coaches to build a business on your terms. And for those of you who don't know us, this is Kelly. I'm Helena.
And we have a guest.
We have a guest, and we'll introduce her in just a moment. One of the big things that I'm just going to press some buttons as we go. One of the big things that we always do is the buzz in our business. So the buzz in our business, which is really what we'd encourage you to do all of the time as well, is to ensure that people know what's happening in your business, that they can celebrate, that we're celebrating, that we actually allow. Oh, Daisy's gone away. Oh, there we go. That is exciting and fun for you, that's actually progressing in some way.
When you're networking, it's always good to have something to talk about what's going on in your business, rather than just everything's fine.
It's all good, thanks. So the buzz in our business, we've got two pieces of buzz, one of which we're really excited about and also can't tell you about, which is really like, oh. So we're in the final stage of creation. About something that we're going to share with you next week. So, but just know that we're really buzzed about that.
Just be on the Facebook Live next Tuesday at 1 p.m.
Yes,
that's all we can say.
That's it, and it's like that's all we can say.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the other buzz in our business is that part of working on your business is actually working on yourself. So we've done some serious personal development stuff this week. I did some serious personal development stuff, and then we together did some
shit with a shaman.
We basically spent a day in a field on Sunday.
Just working on all dimensions of ourselves. Personally developing.
And it was really good. It was really good, wasn't it? So, on that note, do you want to introduce Daisy?
Bless Daisy. It's like, follow that, right? We have not got a shaman with us today. We have a stylist, right? So, what we wanted to do is, we know how important it is, the whole you are what you eat. Well, you actually are what you wear as well. Yes. And so many people really discount the whole styling bit as actually part of their brand, how they can stand out as a speaker, author, or coach. How they make that first impact in that first 30 seconds before they've even opened their mouth. People have made judgments about you. People have actually even probably decided in their head whether they're going to buy or work with you just in that instant. So we thought it was really important for us to highlight this as a topic and bring one of our experts now. Daisy, if you're in the Connection Hub that I've just put the link to in the group, you'll see her. She's always given away awesome tips on style, right?
Always.
We love it. The shoes one was transformative for me.
Amazing.
So I'm not going to spill that one in case she talks about it in the live. But she's always in there giving insight about how you show up specifically. And we thought it was really good to get her on the live today so you can learn how you can dress to impress and build your signature style, right? So we really welcome you, Daisy. We really appreciate you coming and spending some time with us today. In your beautifully styled backdrop. I know. You're matching our backdrop. You look like the picture.
Can you tell the difference?
Just that way. Oh, that's it. So Daisy, while we've got you on, can you tell us a little bit, first of all, about how you've even come into having this as a profession? Because I know this week is an exciting week for you, isn't it?
There's some buzz in your business,
there
isn't there?
Definitely is. Tell us all about you.
Hi, you both. It's so lovely to be here. And yes, I love the Connection Hub. So it's a real privilege for me to be on the other side of the Facebook Live, because normally it's me typing along and like, yes, and, sharing my Tuesday lunchtime with you. So I'm very, very grateful to both of you for having me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So tell us how you came to becoming a stylist.
Well, I'm probably the least stylish person that you knew about 3 years ago. And so the anti-stylist, if you want to call it that, because I didn't have an interest in Vogue. I don't have a major buzz about fashion. I never used to spend my Saturday afternoons shopping. That wasn't me. I came into styling from a completely pragmatic point of view. And I think that's where a lot of my clients can relate, because it's not like, oh, I have this magic feel and you don't, and therefore I'll just throw something at you and it will look good, or at least I tell you it looks good. That's not where I'm coming from, and that's not who I am, and that's not how I work at all. What got me into it was really a desperation in my own personal life. It's like, no, I have to change my career. I have to do something now so that I'll never have to live in a shoebox again.
Wow.
And yeah, it was 7 years of shared living in London, and I was, you know, my body, my mental health, everything was impacted by that. And I had to make a drastic decision. And I thought, okay, just from a purely financial point of view, what would be a service that I can offer that I'm good at, where I don't have to strain my body because of certain health issues. And I knew I was good at decluttering, very pragmatic, very German, very much like, yes, okay, so this is how your wardrobe should look, and we can clear this out. You don't need that. Let's just simplify, simplify, simplify.
Love it.
And I realized people wouldn't pay for that. What's my opinion versus your opinion? What's my basis for saying this should go and that can stay? Who am I to say that? Who am I to make that call? Your friend can help. Your friend can go and help you on a Saturday afternoon and clear out your wardrobe and make it all look pretty. So I said, okay, well, if I want to have criteria, if I want to have reasons why something has to stay and something should go, I need training. I need to know my stuff. I need to have a subjective basis for approaching a wardrobe. So it's personal opinion. It's not like, oh, because I have this eye for things, or oh, because I'm like gifted in some way, I have that extra chromosome of some sort, you know. I don't have a style chromosome. So I researched how to train as a personal stylist. I then did my course in color analysis and body shape and personal style identity, and how to take someone personal shopping, and how to build a capsule wardrobe, and how to create their holiday pack list, to really have a solid basis behind me. And that's really how I started out, just saying, well, look, it's not my opinion, it's not your opinion. It's simple science. Here is your color chart. This is what works, and this is what will make you look great. So that was 3 years ago. Since then, I have moved on. So I have now a sense and a more holistic approach to the whole thing. So I'm now bringing in much more of my personality and really digging a lot deeper than just the superficial science part to it, even though that is still the foundation, that's still the basis of all my work. But I'm just trying to go a little bit deeper and really help the woman to show up for who she really is.
Because you deal with the mindset part of it as well, right? As well as just what you look like. It's like, well, actually stepping into wearing that colour or that style or whatever, you've got to own it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And often there is a lot of style demons that we've inherited either from our mums or from our culture, our background. Something someone says to you as a child, as a teenager, that will stick with you for years. And unless someone comes in and says, well, is that actually true? Do you look like a tree when you're wearing green? Oh, no.
Also, one of the ones that blew my mind that Daisy said is that black doesn't suit everybody, right? But that's what we're told, is that black's the colour that
that's
whatever you're in,
you go to,
whatever shape, body, style, colour you are, black suits you, and you're like, nope. So I was like, oh, okay. This is a shout out to my mum. It doesn't suit everybody. So stop dressing in black.
So what I'm really loving, Daisy, is actually so a couple of things. I'm going to get back onto it for a second, but for everyone listening, what I actually really love is your transition, which is what all of us are in as speakers, authors, and coaches. We transition and deepen into the role and the work and the business that we create for ourselves as we do the learning, as we work with more clients. And so what I love is that, you know, may have started as a straight stylist, so to speak, you know, off the bat, but what you've done is you've then kind of created your whole offering and unique offering around that as you kind of work with clients. And I think that's the piece I want to pull out for everyone who's watching, as much as the actual style elements that you're about to talk to us about, because you know the interest that I actually have and the gift that I think you can give to everyone is really, you know, we talk a lot about standing out as who you are in your uniqueness. So being your authentic self, how do clothes make the man or woman in this case? You know, how do we use clothing to illustrate that?
Well, something we have to just admit to ourselves is that clothes talk. So for me, that's sometimes a little hard to really make that point, because we might be told, oh, we're all wearing this and that's in fashion at the moment, or that's a trend. So we're obviously no longer all in flares and hippie clothes like in the 60s or 70s. Yes, we're all, it is moving. It is a very transient culture. It's not fashion as such, but it's an expression of culture. But something we forget, that it's not just culture but also self-expression. So we have the layer of our own personal identity, then the layer of our mood of the day, or the weather outside, or whatever external influences might come in that decide whether we're wearing Wellingtons or flip-flops. And then the third element is our audience. So depending on who we're seeing and who we're interacting with on that day, making that a purposeful decision to say, what am I communicating to that person? How do I want them to perceive me? So that's why it's so important to think of clothes as your personal brand, as an extension of you. If you were to go mute, would you still on stage? Would people still know what you're about to talk about?
Okay. And I think something you put together, which you're happy for me to share this with the Connection Hub and the group, right? Is that your style Sudoku. So I'm just going to put that in the comments, guys. It's a little downloadable worksheet, which is exactly what Daisy just spoke about looking at your mood and what you've got on for the day and all those types of things. And then that helps you work out what you're going to wear.
And I think there is something about you through that document actually helping people to get conscious about how they're showing up, which then allows them to feel more confident, right?
Absolutely. So it's about that getting dressed with intention.
Nice.
So you're no longer leaving it to chance. If we remember that we're making an impact, whether we like it or not, we might as well
make the right impact.
We might as well influence that impact and manipulate it to what we want it to be. So we have that power to use our clothes as a tool, or we leave it to chance. But it is actually much more powerful than we often give it credit for. So by working on consistency, authenticity, and purpose, we are getting dressed with intention. We're getting dressed with intent, and then getting dressed also gets less of a hassle, because if everything in our wardrobe has been curated and is reflective of your personal style, so the first level, your identity, all of it matches your personal identity, then you only have to worry about, okay, so what's the weather and who am I meeting?
Nice.
Because whatever you're choosing, your wardrobe is a complete reflection of you. So whatever you're choosing out of that will always be authentic. It will always be consistently you, but you're showing up with a purpose because you're matching it for the audience.
You're contextualizing your identity, basically. I'm just going on because I know that one of the Connection Hub members asked this to you when we were promoting the post about signature styles. So how does that land? I know we're going on the same sort of line, which is your authenticness. How do people like discover what that style is for themselves?
Well, a lot of the work comes in that first layer that we spoke about, to decide who you are as a person, what you stand for, what's important to you, what you like, what you're drawn to. So I sometimes work with lists or in a conversation. I sometimes work with mood boards or Pinterest boards, and they don't have to be necessarily clothes related, because a lot of the women I work with have nothing to do with clothes. I wouldn't even know where to find a picture out of Vogue, and that's okay, because I don't know either. So what I'm trying to say is be clothes related to translate it into clothing. And I'll give you an example. For me, it was quite revolutionary to identify my style personality. And in the style Sudoku, you'll see sort of three adjectives that describe you. The way I came up with those with the help of a colleague, because, you know, every therapist needs a therapist, every stylist needs a stylist. We looked at things I love. So, for example, one of the things I absolutely adore is London maps, the London Underground, everything that's sort of like maps and puzzles and everything that's sort of compartmentalized. Yeah. So yes, my look has to be structured. Structure has to be part of it. I need to have straight lines somewhere. Nice. I need to have stiffer fabric. So we're translating something that we love into clothing.
I like
nice. That. I love that. Yeah. I now want to work with Daisy.
Yeah, so
right. and I just got a comment coming in.
The other I had was,
sorry, carry on.
So the other word I had was bold. Another word I had was bold. So she just looked around in my bedroom, for example, and my bedspread, you know, very floral but very strong colors, very deep fuchsia, raspberry pinks, and everything had like splashes of depth and boldness in it. And I was like, oh wow, I didn't even notice that was sort of a red thread through everything in my life, not just my clothes, but everything, how I decorate my home, how I choose my ice cream, you know, it has, you know, it's there. And so for me now, I know unless it's bold and structured and timeless, I don't need to invite it into my wardrobe, because it will not serve me powerfully.
We never find you in pastel colours, right?
Never. Never.
I like,
but they will work really well for someone else.
Well, yes. Yeah, but I love this idea of
really
things into my wardrobe. That's really lovely. And so I'm intrigued, because obviously talking about bold, tell us a little bit about color and why that's so important.
Well, if we think about each other and look, you know, I'm now looking at the three of us, we might all have dark hair, darkish eyebrows, and, you know, like Caucasian complexion, but there is a lot more going on underneath. So color analysis is helping us to build a color profile that really enhances our natural features. So it's all about harmony, and it usually doesn't restrict you as much as you think. So if you have a good color analyst or a good stylist, they'll teach you to not run around with your swatch, but run around with your run around with your three main color characteristics. So every profile will match your natural characteristics, and they are either your undertone. So that's one characteristic. What is your undertone? And the undertone is not your actual skin color, but what's underneath. And that can either be orange or blue. If you are, for example, if I was, you can't see it, Helena, don't try. So if I was to wear an orange top or an olive green top, I literally look ill.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
If I wear a gold drape, it looks like my face is dirty and I didn't wash myself.
Brilliant.
Because there is a reflection. Light reflects.
Yeah.
Whatever is closest to your skin will reflect. And the pigments that are coming out are either clashing or they're in harmony.
Okay.
If they're in harmony, you will not notice the clothes. You'll stay in the face.
Right.
If they clash, you get distracted by the clothes and you only see the dress.
People say, oh, I remember the dress that she was wearing, but I don't know who she was. I wouldn't be able to remember what she looked like.
Yeah, or when someone compliments you on, oh, I love that top you're wearing, you just totally know it's the wrong one.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So the top is wearing you rather than you're wearing the top.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a you look great, it's you look great in that. Yeah.
Okay. Get it.
So that's different, where you can sense also the reaction of others, where someone will be like, oh my goodness, you look great. Have you been on holiday? Have you just I don't know.
Done something.
But it's just because everything is in harmony. There is the healthy, because there's no fight. There's no fight. And for a speaker, if you're on stage, you don't want people to get distracted by what you're wearing. You want them to stay with you, stay in your attention zone, stay in your face, and everything you're wearing should just complement you and lead up towards the face.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Keep the attention.
I'm just going to kind of
that's the one characteristic on color. Then the other one is intensity. So for example, the three of us are quite dark, so we would have deeper colors, whereas someone who's maybe Scandinavian or lighter English, the English rose, they usually wear lighter colors. And then it's also about intensity. So is it very bold and bright and in your face, or is it more muted and duller and sort of gentler? So those are the three characteristics, and you can get, for example, a green in any combination of those. So you can get a green that is, an emerald green is cool, deep and bright, whereas an olive green is warm, deep and muted, whereas a lime green is light, warm and bright, whereas a mint green would be light, cool and muted.
Right.
So that just shows you that you're not restricting.
I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble. Right, we've got a question from someone, which definitely is my question as well. So I think it's Memnia. I'm not wearing my glasses, so I apologize. I'm peering at the screen. So Memnia is asking, what advice would you give to someone who doesn't enjoy shopping and doesn't necessarily know what looks good on them? And I echo that.
Well, it's doing those basics. A lot of the women I work with, very sadly, are not repeat clients, not because I did such a bad job, but because I did such a good job. Which is, a shame, really. But getting that right, getting your colors right, already filters out, for example, an entire section. You walk into a shop and you realize, well, all of this is orange. Well, I just turn around and I'm gone, because I don't need to waste my time with that.
Yeah.
If you know, okay, my style identity is very floral, very romantic, I like, muted, playful things, then yes, you might end up at Ted Baker rather than Karen Millen, right? So you can already filter out where to go and how to target your energy, rather than get lost in the sheer overwhelm of what's out there and what they're trying to sell you and what they're trying to squeeze you into. But if you have the power to say no to a sales assistant, boy, I'm telling you, that feels good.
Nice.
Because it's like, oh, that looks amazing. That looks amazing. And I was like, no, it really doesn't.
No.
So I think the best thing for you to do would be to definitely do your colours.
Yeah.
And then also do that, what you said before, start looking at creating a Pinterest board. What's in your house? What things do you like? What type of person are you? A bold, a floral, what type of colours are you drawn to? Yeah. But obviously this is something where you need an expert to give you that feedback on your colours. We can't say what that is.
Yeah.
The question I have about colours quickly is, some of the people in the Connection Hub are rebranding or just about to start a company around being a speaker, author or coach. And we were just having a bit of an offline discussion with you about this before. How important is it that your brand colours are your colours that you can wear?
Well, it's really interesting because there are two elements to that. Often we are naturally drawn to the colours that suit us outside of fashion.
Okay.
So, for example, I, as a child, as a teenager, I loved fuchsia pink, and everything you would find that was fuchsia pink was all my stationery and all my pajamas, because that's what people didn't see. Right? Because I was head to toe in beige, which, as we now know, makes me look really ill and frumpy. But I didn't know that. But internally, I was attracted to my colors. So quite often you'll find that if you've already done your branding and then you're looking at the colors that actually work for you and that complement you, and that you just have to learn to embrace and, you know, step into them, because we're so manipulated. Oh, only wear black, only wear this, you know, don't draw attention, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. So with our clothes, we have a lot of limiting beliefs. A lot of that is very highly influenced by all the noise around us. So by allowing that to genuinely come out, we often find a synergy there already. Other thing is that if it's really a major clash, then that's something you can work with as well, because there will be a red thread. Like, I can guarantee you there will be a reason why you chose those brand colors, and they will in some shape or form reflect who you are, whether that's now your natural features or something internal that's drawn you to them. And then there's always ways to combine them with your logo, with your natural color. So for example, not having the wrong colors next to your face, like we described earlier. So if my brand colors were orange, then, you know, I might wear purple with it, but then have the contrast, you know, because I know purple works well for me. The contrast is lovely, but then I'm still looking great and my brand is still
or you could accessorize, right, with like a belt or something which isn't right close to your skin, but it's still got that little flash of the color in. I don't know, I'm just making stuff up.
You're making it up.
She look at her
Trust
face.
the stylist.
She's saying no.
There is that option, Kelly. If you are okay with having lots of stuff and just experimenting with it on your own, that's fine. If you're someone who needs a lot of direction and a lot of very, very clear, this will work together 100%, you don't have to think about it, and you don't have to bring in your own creativity, which is what a lot of us do. You know, we just don't want to have to think about it. We just want to go into the wardrobe blind, take something, and it will all work. So the beauty of knowing your color profile is that once you know your color profile, everything will work with each other 100%. The moment you bring color in that is coming from a different color profile, you're hijacking that beauty and that simplicity. So that's something you can do very consciously, but then, you know, you're also sacrificing on the simplicity and on the capsule, the ultimate capsule wardrobe. So it is a conscious decision to make. But yeah, in principle, you can add accessories or, you know, your shoes, you know, very far from your face, absolutely. But then it's a question of how much will that then match with everything else in your wardrobe, because it will only go with something specific rather than with everything.
Perfect. So I know I've had like styling done years and years and years ago, not my colors, but styling done. And my perception was actually it's one of those things that is really only for celebrities and, you know, people in the limelight, and it would be really nice to have. But I think I know some of the people that you've worked with. So can you tell us a little bit about who you do work with and how it works?
Yeah, definitely. First up, I don't work with celebrities, and even if I did, I couldn't tell you. Because for me, my the privacy of my clients is super important. So you'll very rarely see me posting pictures of someone I've worked with, and that is often to my own detriment because I don't have the visible proof. But I'm much more concerned about my integrity and about keeping them safe and making them feel gorgeous and stunning. And you know, how horrible would it be to have like a before and after of someone looking, you know, not their best, and then show off how amazing I styled them. You know, that's not me. The women I work with, Yeah, the women I work with are often as entrepreneurs. I've worked with 2 award-winning speakers who just won awards at the Female Speaker Conference a couple of weeks ago, which was, I was like, oh my goodness, 3 of the women in this room are my clients, and they're all so amazing speakers, and I was like, well, proud, really welled up, because I could see their transition, and I could see how it was so important for them to step out of the teenager. And you've mentioned about your buzz and your business earlier, about how you've worked so hard on your self-development, and you're really invested in yourself, because what you invest in yourself is what you can then give out, whether that's in your business or in your family, in your life. And giving yourself that recognition that, yes, actually, I've achieved so many things in my business and my life. I'm a go-getter. I'll go and I get an expert for this. I get an expert for this. But my wardrobe hasn't caught up yet. Right?
Yeah.
You've developed internally, externally, but somehow your wardrobe stayed somewhere here. Where often
and what I'm finding really interesting about that is that actually for a lot of the people who are in the Connection Hub, they're looking at going to the next level, and this might be a piece that they haven't thought about at all around, oh my God, I'm still the teenager in how I show up, in terms of how I physically show up, and
also
actually
how you feel about yourself.
I absolutely. But what I'm saying is that actually, if we do decide that we want to go to the next level, part of what we need to factor in is, yes, I want to know what I'm selling, and yes, I want to know I want to speak on bigger stages and all of that kind of stuff. But actually, this is one of those hidden kind of things that we might not think about unless we've kind of, unless people have watched something like this, etc. Because that's really important, because actually we might not allow ourselves to have the next level of success, and as a result kind of dress accordingly or not. Really interesting.
Yes, exactly. If you want to be a 10K woman, you have to show up as a 10K woman.
Right.
And often we're holding ourselves back because we don't have that self-belief. The limiting beliefs about our own body and our own self-worth and how we treat ourselves, they sadly influence everything else in a very subconscious, niggling, annoying way. Whereas the moment you can get up and you're like, yeah, I like the woman I see in the mirror. Yeah, she is great, and I like what she looks like, and I have no problem turning up and having that sales conversation, because actually I'm completely comfortable in my skin, and I know that I haven't left anything to chance. I'm really 100% authentic in me, and I can show up like that, and there isn't any part of me that's vulnerable. It's a lot of it is the vulnerability that inside we're thinking, oh, I can't wear a short skirt because I have ugly knees. Why do you have ugly knees? Yes, someone told me when I was 6. Okay. So where does that all come from? Sorry,
I said have you checked them out lately? Does anyone have?
Yes, exactly. So
that's actually true. Does
anyone have pretty knees?
And what are pretty knees while we're at it, right? But the gremlins.
No, but that's exactly the point.
Yeah, we get what you're saying.
But that's exactly the point. That you're not 100% comfortable with yourself. So that's an underlying vulnerability that's holding you back, and then stepping up to the next level. So it's not just for celebrities or for stylists. They care for fashion. They don't care about the person. They care about selling the latest product gown. What are people wearing on the Met Gala? That's what people care about. But here we have to remember, we are going into an age where smart casual is a thing. But what does smart casual even mean? You are your own brand. You're going to show up as your own brand. If you were in a big corporation, they would have their dress code. Do you give yourself a dress code for your business? And you are your business. You're your own boss. So how do you show up? We all are self-employed now. We're all our own personal brand. And to define that with consciousness, you know, that's just good business sense as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, that actually ties in really well with Josipa's question. So can you read that better than I can?
Would Daisy like to pick up the comment that I made earlier about not changing clothes, wearing a sort of uniform for speaking? I think you guys had an offline discussion before the live, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And I think that ties back in with your signature style. So if you've got your 3 layers that you'll see in the document that we've shared,
check out the Sudoku document that's attached.
Yeah, so if that means that you're literally wearing the same thing and that feels true to you and that makes life easy for you, then please go ahead, as long as it's then authentically you. Yeah. To be honest, I get so bored. So that doesn't work for everyone. Yeah. Because I would get flipping bored and I'll be like, oh my goodness, this is not me. I need a little bit of self-expression. But even though we're changing up the outfits, because we've defined our non-negotiables, what should our clothes say? My clothes have to show boldness. My clothes have to show timelessness. My clothes have to show that I'm authentically me and that I'm, you know, structured. Once those characteristics are intrinsically screaming from what I'm wearing, then they'll all scream those things, even though I'm wearing different tops every day. But they all have that in common, and that then creates a signature style.
And what's interesting about that, we were talking about Brené Brown this morning. In her Brave book, she actually mentions one instance where she literally, so this is speaking directly to, she was on a speaking engagement where corporate, where she was sort of told what uniform to wear, and actually just, you know, 4 or 5 minutes before just went, I can't do it. Like, I'm supposed to be this person who shows up as I am. And so she went, like, hauled out the jeans, hauled out the shirt, and actually went on and was acknowledged by someone else in a, you know, as she got changed in that whole, wow, you're brave. And she was like, no, I'm me, you know, sort of, and actually, why would I come and talk about these things and then conform to something else? So I love this whole idea of kind of stepping up. So what are your top clothing tips for people watching, whether it's for kind of, you know, impacting on stage, looking professional in meetings, especially with the heat?
Yeah, like, how do you dress in this heat, right, and still look professional? I'm like open to all of your top tips. So give us a couple. Give our audience a couple of top tips.
So something for the stage is the column of color. It's a very simple trick, but it makes a real impact. And what that means is that you're wearing the same color top and the same color bottom. So that's why dresses are so popular, because they automatically create a column, a vertical column. But you can also create that through a top trousers or top skirt. It's not, and it doesn't have to be the exact same shade, as long as it's in the same palette. And what that does, it gives you real gravitas. You're grounded, and all the attention again goes to the face, because you're looking taller, you're looking more, you're more grounded on the stage, and you have that presence and that gravitas, because you actually, you know, it just does something to your posture as well. It's just fascinating. So column of color is one of the easiest things to do, especially if you know your colors. Then, you know, wow, you know, everything is in harmony, and you're just like, bam, there she is, there he is, and you're just standing there, and you're standing your ground, and you're making an impact. Whereas every vertical line creates an interruption and makes you shorter, and makes, you know, distracts.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
No strikes.
Well, you can, but you know, there are ways. There are ways around it. If you want the easiest tip, the simplest thing to do, just go with a column of color, because you're just doing yourself so many favors. Everything else is possible too, and it has its place. And certain people, I'll say, don't wear the column of color, because you can look too intimidating. But that's very, you know. So as a rule of thumb, column of color is a really great plan. Then Kelly, for you with your heat situation. What we can do is think about professional clothing cuts in lighter fabrics. So for example, if you have instead of having like a thick jersey dress, you have a linen dress, or you're still staying within your tailored pieces, which create professionalism, which create the straight lines, which give you that that seriousness about it, because tailoring is immediately associated with professionalism. So again, it's about how culture has influenced all of the connotations. So using the form, using the cut, but changing up the fabric is a really powerful tool to say true to yourself. So for example, if someone is more even outside now of the hot weather, but if someone is more on the natural side, they're much more into earthy colors, they're not really into all the corporate stuff, but they have to present something. Well, then squeezing them into a suit like a stewardess would be torture, like you said earlier. But if we used like a soft corduroy fabric in a suit shape, then you have the stretch, softness of it, but you're still having the cut that radiates the other person or professionalism. So you're mixing professionalism with casual by using the fabrics from casual and the cuts and the tailoring and the structure from professionalism, and therefore you're creating your unique blend of smart casual.
And that overcomes just what the comment was saying, is that if we were in the Middle East, you and me would be being rude because we've got our shoulders on show, right? So you were saying be really aware of where you're speaking or where you're working because of the different cultures. So I get that. But okay,
and I think that comes down to sort of one of the personalized things that you do quite a bit, which is looking at what does the business actually do as a whole. Are you a speaker, author and coach? If so, where are you showing up? How are you showing up? And that's that piece around, it isn't about styling per se, it's actually about the holistic element of where style fits in to you and your business, which is the difference that we're making, right?
I just need you to reshare your shoes tip, because I think for everyone watching, it makes so much sense that I'd never thought of dressing that way before. So I know we've only got a few minutes left of the live, so can we squeeze the shoe tip in?
Yes, please.
Yes, sure. Well, one of the things I tend to advise is to start with the shoes if you get dressed in the morning. So I even think about creating an app so that it shows you all your shoe options, and then once you've decided on one, depending on the weather, so you might need Wellingtons or flip-flops, then it will then show you all your bottoms. With those shoes work only certain skirts or only certain trousers or only certain dresses. And then once you have that, you then choose the top that goes with that combination. So you're dressing from the bottom up, so that you don't end up with, I'm wearing all of this and then I don't have the right shoes to wear.
And that's the problem. I always dressed from the top down. So I was like, this shirt with this trousers, and I go, I haven't got any shoes. I don't have any shoes to go with that. So it's amazing. It's just revolutionised how I got my dress in the morning just from that little tip. So we'd love to chat more. We're actually going to have a styling session.
We are.
So we'll document that when we do, guys, and we'll put it in the connection hub. And I've shared where people can connect with you, Daisy, because I'm sure there's going to be lots of interest and lots of people want to continue the conversation. So put your Facebook page up in the comments so people can connect with you. And you're in the connection hub. You always share great tips in there. So we really appreciate you spending the time, spending 45 minutes.
I know, right? It's like we say, we'll make this short. It doesn't work, does it? But you're so interesting.
Let's try. It was lovely.
That's good.
We really appreciate you sharing all of your insights. So you've got the Sudoku PDF to do. There's the door. Excuse me. So if anyone wants to basically download the PDF, it's in the notes, and connect with Daisy. We're going to go before the dog attacks the postman. But we send you all our love, and we'll speak soon. Take care. See you later.
Thank you, guys.
See you. Bye.
Bye.